A nightmarish journey. The road stretched ahead like an endless abyss, swallowed by the darkness of the night. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel, trying to calm my racing heart as I navigated the lonely highway. My plan was simple: a late-night drive to clear my mind after a stressful day. Little did I know that this journey would take a terrifying turn into the realm of nightmares. The hum of the engine and the faint sound of my favorite music provided some solace amidst the eerie silence of the night. The only source of light was the beam of my headlights, which sliced through the darkness, revealing snippets of the desolate landscape beyond. The shadows seemed to dance menacingly at the edges of my vision, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me from the blackness beyond. As I drove further into the night, I noticed a strange sensation, as if the road itself was alive and pulsating under the wheels. My heart sank when I saw a peculiar figure in my rearview mirror. It appeared as a mere blur at first, but it steadily gained form, becoming a tall, shadowy silhouette that seemed to glide effortlessly behind my car. Fear gnawed at my mind, and I tried to convince myself that it was just a figment of my imagination. Perhaps it was a trick of the light or a distortion caused by exhaustion. But every time I glanced back, the shape was there, looming ever closer. In an attempt to shake off this disturbing presence, I accelerated, hoping to put some distance between us. Yet no matter how fast I went, the shadowy figure persisted, always maintaining the same distance behind me. It felt as though I was trapped in a nightmarish loop, with no escape from this menacing stalker. As I continued driving, I noticed that the landscape around me had changed. The road became more twisted and unfamiliar, leading me into an unsettling realm I could not recognize. Panic gripped me, but I had no choice but to keep going, hoping that this nightmarish ordeal would come to an end. The minutes turned into hours, and my eyes grew heavy with exhaustion. I fought to stay awake, knowing that falling asleep would be a fatal mistake. However, the haunting presence behind me seemed to seep into my mind, playing tricks on my senses, and I found myself slipping in and out of consciousness. During one brief moment of wakefulness, I saw a flickering light in the distance. Hope surged within me as I thought it might be a gas station or a rest stop. Desperate for reprieve, I pushed my tired body to stay awake, determined to reach that sanctuary. As I drew closer, the flickering light transformed into something more ominous. It was a dilapidated and long-abandoned roadside motel, its neon sign sputtering feebly. But what sent shivers down my spine were the faces I could see through the broken windows. A multitude of pale, hollow eyes staring back at me. Panic surged through my veins, and I slammed my foot on the brakes, screeching to a halt. Before I could fully comprehend what I was seeing, the figure behind me drew near, floating just beyond the glow of my taillights. It was then that I caught a glimpse of its malevolent grin, a sinister grin that was both hauntingly familiar and entirely alien. In that moment of realization, I understood that I was not dealing with an ordinary specter. This was something far more sinister, something that had latched onto me during this nightmarish drive. Terrified and desperate, I reversed my car and sped away from the motel, leaving the haunting eyes behind me. But no matter how fast I drove, the figure stayed close, a constant shadow on my tail. I knew then that this was no mere encounter with a ghost. I was entangled with a malevolent entity that had chosen me as its prey. My only hope was to find a way to break free from its sinister grip. But as the night wore on, it became apparent that this ordeal was far from over. The roads twisted and turned in inexplicable ways, leading me deeper into a nightmarish labyrinth. The shadowy figure persisted, a constant reminder of my entrapment. My mind raced with thoughts of what might happen if I couldn't escape. Would I be doomed to drive forever, pursued by this malevolent presence? Or worse, would it eventually consume me, leaving my own hollow eyes to haunt future lost souls? I was running out of options, my body and mind on the verge of collapse. It was then, at the edge of despair, that I spotted a glimmer of hope, a distant bridge that led to an unknown destination. Without hesitation, I veered off the road and onto the bridge, praying that it would lead me to safety. As I crossed the threshold of the bridge, a blinding light enveloped me, and for a moment, everything went white. When the light subsided, I found myself back on the familiar high. As I crossed the threshold of the bridge, a blinding light enveloped me, and for a moment, everything went white. When the light subsided, I found myself back on the familiar highway, the shadowy figure gone without a trace. Relief washed over me, and tears of gratitude filled my eyes. I had escaped the clutches of that malevolent entity, but the memory of that nightmarish journey would forever haunt me. Since that night, I have never driven at night again. The experience left an indelible mark on my soul, a chilling reminder of the unknown horrors that lurk in the darkness. I warn others to be wary of venturing out into the night alone, for you never know what malevolent presence might be waiting, ready to seize upon the vulnerable and the lost.